Can NYCFC win its third straight match on the road to shock the East? Or will Inter Miami and Lionel Messi be making their first trip to the MLS Cup final? We find out right now.
Stand up, we gon' make some moves tonight. Yeah, stand up, got something to prove tonight. So stand up, we ain't gonna plan tonight. We gonna take action on our dreams and fight, alright. We ain't gonna stall, never stop. We gon' make it all till it's out. We ain't gonna plan tonight. We gonna take action on our dreams and fight, alright.
What is going on, folks? My name is Scott Churchson with Streampunk Entertainment and Streampunk Soccer. Joining me is a far better looking person in Mr. Pat Bernard, sports writer for the Philadelphia Union with us, and also with It's a Wrap podcast. The two of us are going to be taking you through this match between Inter Miami and NYCFC. In about 2 hours, we're going to find out who's going to win this thing, who's going to be representing the East and facing either Vancouver or San Diego, which we're going to find out later tonight. Before that, though, sir, how the heck are you?
Scott, it's been a long time since you and I did one of these kind of shows. The soccer show.
Overdue, man.
It's glad to be back in the home of Streampunk Entertainment. And listen, it's I can't wait to talk some soccer with you. I've been growing this matchy patch beard because I've been under a lot of stress of what happened with this Philadelphia Union team. What happened about a week ago.
Yeah, you're Union proud in this case, so it's probably a little bit bittersweet. I will be asking you in a minute who you're going to be silently pulling for here. Either, the team that much of MLS kind of hates or the team that knocked out the team you love. There's a couple of options here, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But looking at this right now, we have an NYCFC team that surprised a lot of people by beating Charlotte in 3 and really surprising a lot of people by taking down the Philadelphia Union 1-0 at Subaru Park last week in a match that a lot of people think had something to do with the fact that Philadelphia had a 3-week layoff.
Yeah, listen, that could have happened. There could be a lot of principle people are just trying to come up with, maybe because they've run out of gas getting to the postseason. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if the long layoff the case is. I just think personally, New York has nothing to lose. Let's keep that in mind. New York has nothing to lose, and like Rocky told Creed. And Creed 1, when you have nothing to lose, you are the most dangerous person in the match. And this team had nothing to lose. Matter of fact, they gave Philly something they were expected. I mean, New York came with a great defensive game that completely took away everything that Philadelphia was trying to throw at New York. And New York just counterpunched everything. They had great offensive pressure. They played a great defensive zone and man-to-man coverages. I mean, they gave Philly the fits last week. And Matt Freese, wanted to put the icing on the cake against his old club. That's probably had an edge to it. I just know for the first time that the MLS Coach of the Year looked dazed and confused. And was rolling out everything he can by that second half to trying to get something to work, and nothing stuck to the wall.
And yeah, in this case, that was honestly, for all intents and purposes, a kind of a dull match. But that's exactly what Pascal Janssen and NYCFC were pulling for in this case. The one goal about 25 minutes in by Messi Miami, who surprisingly is not starting tonight, which is a curious thing I want to look at. There's a lot of questions regarding him. Is this going to be his last game? He is 38 years old. He's a free agent at the end of the year. So you got to wonder if it's a spirit willing, flesh is weak situation, or maybe he's whole heart. We don't know. But without Alonso Martinez, without Andres Pereira, this is an NYCFC team that's going to be struggling a lot because of the fact that they're losing some of the offensive threats that are there. And again, you're going up against arguably one of the greatest players of all time in Lionel Messi and the squad he wanted to put together.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to go against Messi. Messi right now in his last 6 games has been on fire for Miami. Of course, that's their bread and butter. And like you said, to try to slow him down is going to be tough. We know Messi, he's going to get his regardless. He's going to try to beat New York. But like I said, if New York played the way they played against Philadelphia, listen, I thought this was going to be a day at the beach for Philadelphia to take care of New York. No, New York came into Philly. This game was in New York. This was in Philly, and New York took care of business. So if they could take care of business here, they could And the weather might favor New York. I mean, this ain't no cold area. I mean, it's going to be a nice sunny, probably 75-degree night, and they should be able to handle, business in South Beach. I'm actually pulled for New York. I think New York has a chance to pull the upset here.
You're dealing with a team that's also the second youngest squad in MLS by average age. So there's a lot of questions going to happen there. What's going to happen? But is it enough to overcome Lionel Messi? You look at an Inter Miami team that was embarrassed last year, losing to Atlanta in the first round. You have a lot of questions about whether this team, can compete. And this is something where this is, as you said, NYCFC has nothing to lose, but Inter Miami has everything to lose if they lose this match.
And they do, and that's now. Listen, we all know as MLS fans, as soccer fans, once Miami signed on Messi, that was their the golden ticket for them to bring multiple championships to that city. They are under a lot of pressure. They have everything to lose and nothing to gain if they lose this thing. I mean, if they lose tonight against this New York team, you better look at it. And like I said, I've seen a New York team play a physical shutdown, lockdown defense last week where they were shutting down scoring opportunities, shutting down, they were clogging lanes for the Philadelphia Union not to come up with anything. And if they could do that against number 10, look out, put him in double coverage if you have to. I just don't understand that you said they're not going to have, New York's not going to have Manny Morales, start, which I think that's a major no-no. I mean, you need someone to set the tone early. And if that guy can help you find the back of the net, you got to use him now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it surprised me a little bit. This is the starting 11 that NYCFC is dropping down there today. So you can see right now we got Nico Fernandez, which is smart, obviously. Messi Morales is in there. Thiago Martins, which there's a question about him in this game. Is this his last game? Because if he's a free agent at the end of the season and pulling in $1.7 million. But Aiden O'Neill's back in the lineup. Toole, Gray, Ojeda. It's a decent lineup here, but it's got a lot of questions about whether they can hold out. Now, again, if you go up against what we're looking at when it comes to Inter Miami, I mean, you're getting exactly what you kind of expect here. Messi's obviously in there. Allende's in there with 11 goals. Busquets, no Suarez, which may be a little bit of a concern there, but we'll have to see. But it's going to be interesting to see what this team ends up doing and if they're able to hold out. And if NYCFC can sneak a surprise Inter Miami, who won 4-0 last week, very handily on the road against Cincy.
Yeah, Cincy's not the same.
Mario's playing in the background.
Yeah, since he's not the same team as they were in years past. I mean, if there was a team that I didn't want to face, I didn't have New York as a bingo card team as a team I didn't want to play. I thought that I'd be, I was looking towards playing New York, but again, Cincinnati is one of those teams I had no fear against. I thought this would be a coast too. So to me, I think it was warranted when they were going to get bounced out. But like I said, right now, I think out of all the teams that are currently going on, it's going to be Vancouver and Miami that you have to get by. But let's deal with the business at hand with Miami. Like I said, if I see the same kind of play from New York, if they can set the pace and play that same defensive game they played from last week, they'll be in good hands.
I mean, that's the other side of it, too. You have a Vancouver team, with Berhalter, Brian White, and everything they've been doing against an upstart team in its first season with San Diego. Anders Dreyer has absolutely stunned, I think, the league in a lot of ways. That team has pulled what St. Louis did a couple of years ago, albeit better, in a city that honestly really deserves to have a good championship team. I mean, the Padres disappoint every year. The Chargers went north, so they lost that. So having some kind of in that city gives them an opportunity to have something to look forward to and be excited about. And we'll know in a few hours what happens there. But for right now, we're looking at Inter Miami and a squad that I think is pressed, ready, and can handle the pressure of actually going in and expecting to beat NYCFC, Aiden O'Neill, Nico, and the rest of them.
Yeah, like I said, if Miami wins, it was bound to happen because they got number 10 there. Number 10 is like I said, probably not but one of the greatest players ever played the game. And you got to tip your cap. But again, I think Miami's going to hit a brick wall. If they get past New York, I think Vancouver is going to be a tough ticket to get by. That's my winner to win the whole thing. But But for tonight, like I said, I don't see Messi going off like he's done up until this point. It's going to be a tough task, and I think New York knows they have to play lockdown defense. Maybe put him in maybe triple coverage, whatever you got to do to make him not efficient and take any kind of scoring opportunity out of his hand.
Sure. And I think if you look at this squad here, I think you have to look at it from Don Garber's perspective, who's probably very, very clearly looking for and rooting for Inter Miami to win this game, because I think MLS needs the pub for the MLS Cup final, especially given the fact that the NWSL final last week, drew over 1 million fans. And last year, the MLS Cup final didn't even draw 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, you got a lot of concerns there in this case. So I think if you're Don Garber, you're absolutely rooting for Inter Miami to get in. I think in a situation for them, I think they really wanted Inter Miami and LAFC because you can get Son and Inter Miami. But I think he'll take what he can get. And if it's him, he's probably rooting for San Diego on that one too. But definitely rooting for Inter Miami tonight.
Yeah, listen, he probably is. But guess what? You and I both know anywhere from Boston, I would say, down to Maryland. That is the most hardcore sports fandom out of anywhere across the country. So
Sure.
To me, if New York can get into the Cup, I'm pretty sure everyone out there is going to be full behind that team, getting riled up on all those things. So again, this is going to be New York's second championship within 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, it literally NWSL Gotham FC won a week ago. So if NYCFC can pull it out and have 2 soccer championships in a month, it's going to do, I think, a fair bit for credibility here. Because in the New York City area, believe it or not, nobody really cares about this team. It's the Giants, the Jets, which obviously are garbage right now, year after year. But also, for them, the Rangers, the Knicks, the Nets, the Mets, and the Yankees. But a lot of them, even here, like soccer is not a sport. So Gotham winning for the second time in 3 years. NYCFC winning 4 years ago. If they get a second championship here, if they're able to pull that out, maybe it can help get soccer on the map. And in a city that's really soccer contemplative. So.
Yeah, and it's true too. But if again, New York NYCFC does make a splash, actually gets himself contending for the Cup, they get through tonight. They put down Inter Miami. They put down number 10, the greatest of all time. This puts them on the mat on that market, because you have a struggling football team with both franchises. Again, all around it is pretty bad. So this can kind of polarize that franchise into that major market up there and help them out. I mean, again, summertime, kind of getting football started. You have the New York Atlas kind of winning things up there. Mm-hmm. Now you can get divert that to the NYCFC team, kind of carrying the flagship for that town.
Very possible, yeah. I mean, I think all things considered, looking at this team right now, they're showing the win probability right now on Apple TV. 62.7% chance that Miami wins it. 17.6% chance for NYCFC, and going into any sort of overtime, about 20%. So the odds are per Vegas pretty heavily stocked in Inter Miami's favor. So we are about to get underway. John Freeman's the referee on this one. He's okay. It's funny. I have a great respect and gratitude for the officials since I've gotten to know Ted Uncle a little bit. But yeah, we're going to find out what happens. I'm going to flip that over. I will be updating this throughout. Ideally, in a perfect situation, I'd love to be able to show.
I'll be right back, Scott.
Yeah, sure. Take your time. In a perfect situation, I would love to be able to show the game, but the truth is, I do not like to be sued by Apple TV and people that have lawyers that are far bigger than myself. So we're going to kind of roll with it this way. Eventually, I might do something with a FOD mob or something, maybe next season. But my previous channel got wiped for being spam for doing that similar thing, so I'm a little edgy there. Anyway, the big question right now, like I said, is can NYCFC pull out 3 wins in a row on the road? Sometimes it's not always about being great during the season, it's about getting great in postseason. But as we're seconds away from getting underway, and now we are officially underway, Inter Miami taking the first kickoff here. You have a team right now with an Inter Miami squad that is fully expected that they have to win right now. Because if they do not win this, if they don't actually get what they need to get, you have to start asking yourself, what is the legacy of Lionel Messi here in New York. Sorry, I'm trying to type at the same time I'm doing this. I'm not too drunk. There we go. Fix that, and there we go. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. So, but if Inter Miami loses tonight and they don't go to the MLS Cup Finals, you have to start asking the question: is the Messi experiment working? Yes, they've won trophies in the past, but they were embarrassed last year in a big fashion. They missed the playoffs in 2023, but they were too far gone, so it was too far back. It was never going to happen. That's okay. But last year, they were embarrassed by an Atlanta United team that surprisingly actually really, really had a bad season last year. Right now, we're just over a minute in. NYCFC does have possession just barely into the Inter Miami zone. I'm watching this on Apple TV right now from the Apple TV package that I paid for, by the way, just like the rest of you guys. But thankfully, just like the rest of you guys, will not be paying for next year. Inter Miami is already climbing in right now. Just inside the box right here. Giving it over to guy number 10. I think we know that. First shot on goal, sort of easy save by Matt Freese. Matt is very clearly going to be a big key to this match tonight, being the starter for the U.S. men's national team. And that defensive line in the back end with him and Thiago and Tavon, Justin Hackett, all those guys, that is going to be an absolute key to be able to keep Lionel Messi and the rest of that squad off the scoreboard. Now, curiously enough, the first match, by the way, we're just almost 2 minutes in, the first match between Lionel Messi and New York City FC, which happened way back in 2024, curiously enough, Lionel Messi actually had the lowest score per fight mob of any player on the team, on any player on either team, in a 1-1 draw by pulling a 5.8 rating. NYCFC, I'm sure, is very clearly pulling back to that match from a year ago to see if basically say, okay, this is what we did then, this is what we can do now. Pascal Janssen had talked about the fact that he's been using quotes from Kobe Bryant to hype the players up, get them excited, get them focused on everything, and get them in a position where they believe they can win this. Pat, let me know your thoughts here, but if Miami scores first, what happens then?
If Miami scores first, it's over. I don't want to be that guy, but because that means to me Miami's already drawn blood. And one thing about Miami, because once they find a crack in the wall, you're going to wind up knocking the whole wall down. So you got to really keep them at bay. You just have that same mentality that you had last week. You have to play, like your second fiddle. You have to have that mindset that this is the best in the world that we're going down to face. I hope that NYCFC kept that mentality that they had last week when they went to Philly. I mean, I know South Beach, you can get distracted easily. But I don't
think Pascal Janssen would allow that. He's way too disciplined for that crap.
well, that's good, because if you had that same kind of mentality that you did last week, this should be nothing but a breeze. And like I said, how much pressure is on Messier? How much pressure is on the Miami franchise? Because if you fall to this New York team, a lot of questions are going to start coming in. Can they ever climb over the hump, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Like I said, I saw the best the MLS Coach of the Year in Bradley Carnell, who I thought was going to take this team to the promised land and poop the bed, because New York playing such a great defensive game. Defense wins championships, and that's the old saying, and I believe New York has a great opportunity to do that. If they could slow down Miami, even if they fall behind on the scoreboard early, even though I just said they'll probably lose it. But you got to remember, they got to play for 60 minutes. Even if they slip up a little bit on defense, if they can have some kind of counter punch, and they should be able to be okay. If you look at the way they played last week, I mean, look at the goal that Morales got last week. It was tic-tac-toe. It was creative plays. It was nice short passing, finding someone surrounding Andre Blake and finding the back in the net.
Yeah, and then obviously you have the one play by, I think it was Nico Fernandez, who forced Andre Blake out of the game by having to slide and hurting his hamstring on that.
Yeah, and listen, now that you knocked out Philly, in Matt Freese's mind, say, we are looking to win this whole thing. I get it. Number 10 is going to be a tall order to deal with, but just to not, want it to shove it in Philly's face some more, like, wanting to walk down Broadway with with the championship in their hands, wants to say, hey, this was a big mistake for moving on from me. But hey, listen, I credit the New York team. I saw defensive play from those guys last week that I never saw this Philly team face before.
Yeah, agreed. And, in this case right now, by the way, we're just in the 6th minute right now. NYCFC is trying to pull the ball back to midfield right now. We just had the one casual shot on goal. We may have an opportunity here coming up the right side. Who is that right there? Pass across, going absolutely nowhere in this case. Inter Miami will get the ball back as it goes right through the 18. Possible first scoring chance opportunity there. But right now, I don't expect it to be a lot of action early on. I think both teams are going to really try and focus on getting in a position where they can feel the other side out. I think the teams are back on the regular schedule again. The layoff that happened, the 2-week layoff is over. Players like this really, really like to have a schedule. 1 match a week is great. So I think it should be better, but they're not going to really put a lot of effort into try and give away or take chances. Now, NYC, New York City is starting to get a little bit of position right now. 7 minutes in, almost, to have the possession inside Inter Miami's zone. But their ability to control as much as they are is going to be the massive key here. Keep the ball away from Messi and everybody else that's involved there, Allende. Keep the ball away. Do what you got to do. But because in this case, if you want, one of the things that I noticed, I'm rambling a little bit right now, so I'm already losing my voice. Messi lulls you into a false sense of security because he'll walk, he'll be very casual, he won't expend a lot of energy. But when he wants to, he goes to 60 miles an hour fast.
I agree, and same like you said. The key thing is time management, ball possession. Keep make sure you're in control, making crisp passes like you did last week. Make sure you get your crisp scoring opportunities when they appear. Trying to draw the 2-on-1s. Try to have Miami attack you when they can. Try and do what they did against Philly. Bring Andre Blake to you. Don't and go from there. They have a great opportunity of winning this game. I'm telling you, it's if they bring that same defensive play like they did last week, this should be nothing but a cakewalk.
So you're really in favor of New York City taking this game too. Tavon passing across, chance in the box, but we weren't able to make anything happen. But they are really trying to maintain possession right now and play glorified keep away, which is probably going to be exactly with the same basic tactics that they had against Philadelphia last week. You keep the ball away from Phil, you dribble around, you wait, you play, frankly, a sluggish, dull game. Also because you want to make sure you take the Inter Miami fans out of this as well. Don't let them get excited. Don't let them get impassioned or anything like that. That's going to be a massive key as well. You got to get that first goal. You got to get the fans out of this as well, because once they're in it, Miami can take over.
Yeah, they can. And, like I said, you don't want to get them riled up. You don't want to give them nothing to get riled up about. And like I said, keep possession away from number 10. Keep your eyes focused on him. If he gets that ball, you got to go, immediately draw to him double coverage. Yeah, that's going to leave somebody open, but still, you got to create havoc for him on defense.
Yeah, New York City is still staying inside Miami's zone right now. The last time curiously enough, Messi's down on the ground right now in some kind of pain. Looks like he took a shot to the mouth, maybe.
There you go.
So, yeah, this is probably going to end up being a chippy match. Let's see what happens. Messi taking the ball across. It looks like he got an arm to the face. Aiden O'Neal with an arm to the face to Lionel Messi. Aiden O'Neal is just served a yellow card suspension. And had to miss last week's game. Aiden is a violent player, not as violent, I'll say, but he is pretty violent as a player. So expect a little bit of that chippiness, and we're probably going to get a lot more of this before this match is over right now. But 10 minutes in, no score, very quiet. Playing really the game right now that Pascal Janssen wants to play. Slow it down, keep the ball away from, like you said, 10.
Keep it away from 10 and do as much as you can. Time management. Keep the ball possession, ball security, whatever you got to do. Make sure you're making the right passes. Make sure you're reading the field, seeing what Miami's going to throw at you on defense, and you got to take liberties on it.
Sure. But again, one of the things that was, like I said, was curious is that Messi will walk and then suddenly just take off at full speed, and I think he lulls you into a little bit of a complacency. And that's where I think you take your eyes off him because he's so innocuous and so quiet. And then all of a sudden, bam, just immediately just flies. Now, the last 3 matches these guys have had down in Florida have all ended in draws. So if you're in New York City, I think if you actually go to PKs on something like this, you take that, because at least you got to the end of this, and then you could just let the PKs and Matt Freese take care of it if they need to. Inter Miami is not great on defense. They're an offensive-heavy team. So you got to, like I said, you look at this from that perspective as well. Can this team score on Miami?
Yeah, and that's, like I said, that's going to be the problem. And I don't know if Miami's going to take this team lightly because they got the big window of Cincinnati. They probably looked at like Philly did. Is this where a clear shot to cup? And I hope for their sake, they're not overlooking New York. Like I think Philly kind of did that themselves, kind of overlooked New York and looked at it like we're the number 1 squad. Blah blah blah. We coast through Chicago. And we'll be right there. And I don't think it's going to be that easy.
I think with see, they're already Messi goes down again on a trip. Those ago, was that Ojeda or was that Nico? But yeah, now they're really targeting Lionel Messi right now. Who's getting pissed? He does have a free kick. Outside the 18, and this is where Lionel Messi is far and away the most dangerous he can be.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, please.
No. I mean, you don't. I mean, I get you want to play physical. You want to get in his mind. You want to play a little physical with him. But you say you don't want to. You want to play too physical work, and it actually costs you, especially with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, this is where he's most dangerous. Free kicks like this, just starting 13 minutes in, they're highlighting Matt Freese hardcore right now too, because in a lot of ways this is going to be a Lionel Messi shot on Matt Freese directly from about 25, 30 yards out. You might surprise people on this one, Pat. The chip shot in, header, and easy save by Matt Freese. The header, good shot, good opportunity there, good header, but it went right to Matt Freese. So it was an easy save, but first shot on goal officially. Yeah, Matt didn't have to move. He was right in the spot. Yeah, you can see the reaction of a lot of the Inter Miami players right there, knowing that they had the first opportunity of the game but couldn't make it happen. This was not a big enough water cup anyway. Dude, I don't know why I'm losing my voice already. Holy shit. So.
Yeah, like I said, you just got to keep Messi away. You just got to maintain Messi. And like you said, you're kind of getting the feel that, New York's message was to get physical with the guy. And you don't want that to come back to bite you. Yeah.
Right now, I think Inter Miami's starting to take control. I think they've started to figure out their game plan a little bit. This is where New York City FC had their chance early on. They're going to have to get it back right now because right now they're back in the box. Yeah, Inter Miami is starting to push forward a little bit and starting to play the system and the style that they know how to play. Pass back. Inter Miami has it back in their own zone. Passing forward a little bit. 14 minutes in. Highlighting Maxi Morales, like I said, is this his last game? A lot of questions on that. Shot and holy shit. Oh, boy. And there it is. First goal of the game, 14 minutes in. Inter Miami scores and on a right-footed shot from just inside the box. And, that is exactly what you talked about earlier, where if they score first, this is a big problem for New York City FC.
Yeah. Drawing first
did
blood.
Not take long, sir.
No. Drawing first blood. This is good. We're gonna hope this ain't gonna be a long night from New York.
Yeah, you see, like I said, what happened with last week against Cincy, they scored first early, and then took the Cincy crowd out of it. Obviously, the crowds are notwithstanding, but you take that first goal and you could get control early on. So great pass across, about 50-yard pass straight down. Right-footed shot. There was no way that Matt Freese was going to get to that one. And, yeah, this is exactly what Inter Miami needed, exactly what NYCFC did not need right there. Yeah, Raul Gustavo couldn't make the stop.
Tough.
Oh, yeah. So, all right, there's the first goal. By the way, keep in mind, I do have to do the press conference later, too, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, so Pascal Janssen's press conference, either way is going to be really interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, that did not take long.
No, not for long.
So, yeah. Today, Olende with his first goal of the match here, on the 14-minute mark officially, and second highest goal scorer of the team for the team this season. I think 10 goals and 11 assists, or the other way around. I forget which one it ended up being, but either way, 1-0 Herons. So if you're NYCFC, you got to at the very least keep this 1-0. You can't go down 2. Jordi Alba's pissed off right now about something. But yeah, if Inter Miami can go up by 2, then yeah, the win probability goes like 98%.
Yeah,
on this.
If they find another way to the back net, you might want to get closer early, and I hope not either.
Yeah, but yeah, this right now, statistically speaking, New York City is actually on the road pretty poor when they don't score first. They were, if memory serves, about 2-5-0 in matches where they don't score first on the road. So this is, again, a playing uphill type of scenario. But Lionel Messi does what it does. So,
Lionel Messi. Of course, Lionel Messi. Number 10.
You know, it's funny. On this side of the fence, it's sort of a win-win. Because either I get the press conference for the MLS Cup final and cover NYCFC for the final, or next week when I do a live stream to that, I do a Messi game. Either way, my numbers on this channel will be solid.
Yeah, there you go.
Either way, it's sort of a win-win on a selfish level here. But yeah, joining me in this case, Pat Bernard from It's a Wrap Sports, also writes for the Philadelphia Union with us as well.
Yep,
I've done some press box stuff there. Appreciate that big time. So
yeah, that's another player you got. Like we kept on talking about Messi. You're not talking about Andre either.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, he's been on fire for them as well. Well, then again, Messi will make things life a lot easier for you.
Yeah, with players like that, like I said, they're a niche squad that Messi basically put together. This is not Javier's team. This is Messi's team. He just kind of he's sort of a figurehead. He play some stuff here, but it's sort of like when Michael Jordan was playing. We'll say when Michael Jordan was playing for the Washington Wizards. You know, nobody remembers that Michael Jordan used to play for the Wizards.
Yes.
When he owned the team, by the way. But I mean, when he played in Chicago, Phil Jackson, okay, fine. But when he came out of retirement as a player owner and started playing for the Wizards and ticket sales spiked, it was his team. I don't even know who the head coach was of Washington at that point.
No,
it didn't matter because you got Michael Jordan playing.
No, right? You had MJ, and like I said, this is Messier's team right now. Right now, NYCFC has 117 total passes right now. To Miami's 90. I mean, at least they're passing the ball, but you got to get that ball to the back of net now. Yeah. Now, you can't waste time now.
And this, like I said, this is where this is going to be. This is already an uphill battle. I don't know what the win percentage is on this, and I don't think it even matters at this point because again, it was already going into this. It was a win percentage of 67% for Miami, not even counting overtime. So the fact that this is already the way it is right now, this is bad. DePaul's pass to Olende 14 minutes in. Let's see, what do we got? 2 shots, 1 goal. Possession is still heavy NYCFC by a slight margin. But what's interesting also is the pass. I'm looking at FOTMOB right now, by the way. Is the pass percentage right now for Inter Miami is 93%, and that is an obscene number because they know. And I love to use the phrase because it's funny. They're great at they're great with their own ball control.
Yeah, you just don't want the ball in their hand, at their feet, not too much longer.
So, but yeah, this is exactly the start that Pascal Janssen did not want right here.
No,
they had a couple opportunities there, but. Again, you're also dealing with a team that is the second youngest in the game right now. The team is an average age of 24.7 because you got people like Johnny Shore, you got people like Michi, you got these guys who are really, really, really young. First yellow card of the game, by the way, I believe on Maxi Morales.
Yep.
And you got to ask yourself how much, like I said, how much gas he's got in the tank here. What happened there? A little pushing and shoving, and then Maxi with a slight shoulder, but I don't. Yeah, they're already barking at each other right now. Yeah, get in there, Aiden O'Neill. You'll help.
Well, that's kind of show. Usually when you get too physical like that, you're already trying to show you the hand.
21 minutes in, sir. 21 minutes in.
Yes. When you get too physical, a little too cute with it. Usually when we get too physical like that, you're showing the opposition you're not skilled enough to contain and hold up. But hopefully, like I said, they just got to play smart like they did last week. And we know Miami is just capable of drawing first blood, but you have to just leave it there and you come up with a counterpunch. You have to try to, the coach has to figure things out right now. There's still plenty of time on the clock.
Oh, there we go. Here it goes. They're getting pushing and shoving. We're going to get a lot of added time. Oh, yeah. Shirt's already starting to move a little bit. Messi's currently tugging on Aiden O'Neill's jersey right now. Falcons getting in there. 21 minutes in. 22 minutes in. And we're already getting some pushing and shoving going on. Oh, this is going to be messy. No pun intended. Seriously, no pun intended on that one, too.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to message Ted Uncle real quick, see if he's around. Ted Uncle, former MLS official.
Okay.
Let me just see you. And another yellow card. Let's see, match. I don't know. You know what's funny about him? He's happily retired, and he's really enjoying himself that way. He cooks dinner for his daughter and everything like this, and so
good man.
Oh yeah, he is happier now in retirement. He still works with the league and training and everything like that, but the Washington Wizards coach with Doug Collins, who MJ handpicked and fired after he retired again as a player. Thank you.
Doug Collins.
That's awesome. But yeah, I just messaged Ted Uncle. I'll see what he has to say on this because, again, that's the kind of stuff that you got to deal with. And you got to figure out who gets what. And in the middle of the diatribe about Uncle, NYCFC scores again. Is that Allende for a second time? Does Allende have a brace already? Oh, this is getting bad. I don't know if I think it's Allende, but I don't. It doesn't really matter at this point because already Inter Miami is up by 2. Yep.
Yeah, Miami saying, you might beat us in the physicality, but we're going to beat you on the scoreboard where it matters.
I'll update the screen in a second there, but holy shit, dude. Getting hugs from Silvetti right there. Jordi Alba's giving him some love right now because again, you're not even halfway through the first half, and you're already up by a pair. Oh, this is going to get ugly for New York. I can only imagine what the comments are going to be like. A great header from just middle left side of the box, pass in. There's no way Matt Freese is going to get to the right side of that.
Yeah, I don't like the play call. The coaching decision here. I mean, I get it. You want to get physical with Miami and try and get in their heads, but wrong kind of game for this. I mean, they're going to get away from the game that they had against Philly. They didn't play this kind of defense. They just played them man to man where Philly just couldn't get their shots off. And I get it, this is a whole nother atmosphere, on a whole nother player. But, on a whole nother level, but still you have to have that same kind of mentality that you had last week. If not, I mean, you're seeing the result for yourself. It's already pretty much out.
Yeah. And at this point, I don't know what the mathematical odds are. I just literally asked this like 10 minutes ago, not even, with Miami going up by 1, what the win probability was for Miami. But now that Allende has a brace and Miami's already up by 2, and we're barely halfway into the first half.
No, and listen, everyone thought the scoring opportunity, like I said, Messi doesn't have to be that guy to they have enough firepower. They don't have, Allende just, doing the dirty work right now. Yeah.
Jordi Alba's down right now, in some kind of a pain of some degree. Legit pain or Oscar-worthy acting, we're not sure yet, but.
If you go back to that first goal, I mean, look at Allende. I mean, he gets that long stretch pass, beating the one-on-one coverage. And finds it back on him.
Jordi Alba with the delayed reaction. Okay, yeah, Jordi Alba with the delayed reaction. I'm sorry, that was just great.
Yeah.
You know, he's fine. He trips Ojeda, then just okay. It's time to fall drop.
Tommy.
Yeah. By the
Thanks,
way,
buddy.
the joy of parenthood, Mr. Bernard over there.
Yes. Just trying to tell my 4-year-old to turn it down. Bring it
No,
to me,
it's
buddy.
okay, dude. It's not a problem. So, anyone who's got kids or related to someone who has kids understands the challenge. So, but yeah, Jordi Alba, yeah. No Suarez in the lineup because Suarez is arguably one of the most violent people in the world of soccer in general.
Yeah, and like I said, they just got they're going about business the wrong way from the jump. I'm a little disappointed in New York. I gotta be honest. I mean, like I get it. Listen, they're playing with like I said earlier, as the most dangerous animal. But at the same time, I expected it better. You're trying to get a little too physical and all that. You're just worried about trying, get in Messier's head when they have multiple different scoring options they can hurt you with, and you're seeing it right now.
New York with a possibility just on the left side outside the box with a free kick there. Nico or Maxi Morales was going to be Nico. One timer in header and not going to go anywhere. But yeah, if you're Inter Miami, you don't play like you're ahead by 2. You play by you're basically tied right now. You need to get the third goal. If you go up 3, then I think you can start resting a little easier.
Yeah,
but I think right now it's 2. That's the big difference. I mean, if you're up by 2, you give up 1. Now they cut the lead in half. But 3-1 is a lot different than 2-1.
If you need to get on the scoreboard.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Like I say, you're just you're creeping on the first half. Still a lot of time left on the clock. Still a lot of time. You can make things happen here.
Pascal Janssen's pretty pissed trying to get coordinated player coordination right now. But, yeah, New York. Don't be surprised if New York starts starting to push forward and start taking bigger chances, especially come second half.
Yeah.
It's a little surprising in some regard that Hannes Wolf had to start. Good first shot on goal for NYCFC there. Left-footed shot from the left side. An opportunity, but not much on that. But Hannes Wolf is surprisingly not in the lineup to start. Wolf had 11 goals this season. I guess he's being saved for maybe second half. But you have to expect that if New York ends up going down by 3, Wolf may get an early entrance, or earlier than basically maybe initially planned on. New York is still playing their game, playing that keep-away game right now, but for totally different reasons. 29 minutes in right now, Inter Miami is up 2-0 on 2 Allende goals. Miami's doing exactly what it was expected of them in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the ball across right now, past midfield. It'll be back in New York City's favor at this point. Quick, easy pass back to Matt Freese.
And look what Miami's trying to do too, right? I mean, this is actually smart looking down the head, looking down the road too. They want you to look at Allende to be the problem. This way, if they make it to the next round, whoever they're going to face, it's going to be locked down on Allende and make things a little easier for Messier.
Yeah, the Pigeons don't. Yeah, exactly. That defense, which was a vaulted part of their team, has really disappointed so far. And this is again not what you needed here. New York was 6-1-1 or 7-1-1 in the last 9 on the road since July. So yeah, they were really strong, surprisingly strong on the road, obscenely strong on the road. So to see this kind of an output this early is exactly not what they needed right now. And like I said, this could get ugly real fast because you saw what happened last week against Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. It didn't take long for them to
19 minutes in, I believe. So, yeah, we're just clicking into the 30-minute mark right now. Inter Miami currently up 2-0 at the moment. Take the ball back into New York zone right here. possible scoring chance right here as they're breaking towards the box. Block shot. And it's going to. By the way, I'm not sure what your timestamp is on this side, but I'm at 30:23.
I'm at 31.
Really? You're that far ahead?
Yeah, I'm at 31-minute mark.
All right, let me just jump this ahead a little bit here. Maybe I paused.
Now I'm going to go back and look at, like I said, I looked at the first one. I want to go back and take a look at myself at this Alonde second goal here.
Mm-hmm. Please.
And like I said, just oh man, a beautiful header goal. He's just getting set up down low.
Yep.
And
this is Allende's game so far.
And he's beating the one-on-one coverages all the time. The whoever's trying to defend him down low, right down there, this is where the coach needs to make the adjustment and get someone else involved. He's just beating the one-on-one coverage, Alonde. I mean, right from here. I mean, this is pretty much from. These are long stretch passes that he's getting, and he's at the right spots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're really doing exactly what they need to right now. Falcon's pissed off, hair waving, but jealous. Nico Fernandez, by the way, also got his first yellow card of the match too, so that's going to be dangerous because Nico is an absolute offensive threat and the biggest offensive threat pretty much they have right now, with Alonso Martinez being out until next year, June or July. So Nico getting a yellow card early, he's going to have to continue to play aggressive. There's no choice in the matter. You've got to throw every spaghetti you got at the wall right now. But him getting a yellow card early is a concern. But again, a little sluggish. 33rd minute right now. I jumped it ahead. Apparently, I was back a few minutes. So sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm at 33. Again, just New York's got to go into half. Hopefully, they get something on the scoreboard before that. But you want to go in the half and try to figure, hey, what are we doing wrong here? Why are these long stretch passes killing us right now? They gotta do a better, with the defenders. Gotta let them just stay back there, and let your guys just play up front. You're gonna have to let the forward, the midfielders and the strikers just handle business, and everyone else has got to stay back, especially because, like you said, Miami can explode on you on any given time.
By the way, Allen now with the yellow card. So both teams now have 2 yellow cards in the first half. Let's see. All right. Bill's got his pregame show tomorrow. Okay. Bill Aikens.
My guy.
I think you know that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, my guy.
So. But New York's trying to shift the ball into the zone right now. A little too far, it looks like, and out of play. Back out for a goal kick. Guessing probably give or take about 5 minutes of added time for right now. But yeah, this is exactly what Don Garber's probably rooting for right now. Get Lionel Messi in, try to get the TV ratings up, but if they can't get the numbers to match NWSL with Lionel Messi in your final, oh boy, what does that say about his tenure?
Ooh.
Yeah, there's already talk that he's going to be stepping down fairly soon anyway. He's had a good run for a long time, though, to be fair.
This it would be something remarkable, and again, this is all smart play by Miami. Just sit up on Londe. This takes the pressure off of the next round. This way now you got Vancouver or San Diego going to focus on that, and then Miami can explode. And again, I think this will help Miami, help the whole MLS in general.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to get more star-studded stars in there. And you have to start building, endorsements and all that. But that's going to have to be, time to come. But, I do like, what Vancouver has to offer. That guy, Thomas Miller,
yep.
He's going to be no cakewalk either to deal with.
Now you mentioned, the marketing and all that kind of stuff. Are you surprised now in the literally 2+ years that Lionel Messi has been here that he hasn't done more to promote MLS in that time.
You know what? You're right, Scott. I would thought there would be more eyes, and with me, like I told you last week, I chat with cats across the ocean. I talked to a lot of guys from England and all that stuff, and like I'll put just they don't have no idea what's going on over here, no idea. And I would thought this would be a major market by now with the name that he is, and people a little bit more promoting across the world. And maybe not. Maybe across the country, that's where they want to build first, and then go out from there. But no,
you got a guy who has, I think, the second most followers on Instagram behind Ronaldo. So you have an opportunity there to really blow this wide open and put your face to this league. But for whatever reason, Lionel Messi is still staying to his rule about doing no interviews. And press conferences with him are so much different. I'm not sure if he ever did one. But with Inter Miami, there is a whole system where your photographers have to go at a specific time. They have to sit through a small class before going to the pitch. First opportunity, and New York City finally gets on the board. Justin Hack with a header. Oh, that is exactly what New York needed right there. Oh, Hack with a header. Third rail making their appearance as well. Justin Hack has drawn a lot of attention too. There's some talk he's going to go to Scotland after this season.
Wow. No, to get back to your point, yeah, I mean, I've been there when Messi was in town to trying to even get a glimpse of the guy in a walk passing and nothing like. I thought we'd meet him at some point. We're going to walk by each other and nothing. Very very low key guy and all that stuff. Yeah,
and that's where it's a concern because that I don't think was part of the deal, or at least I hope there was. So. Let's see. Make the stupid league calendar with your playoffs split up by an international break. Casual fans are yeah, that was the other side of it too, is that USL and NWSL every single week had it. And like I said, NWSL's final last week with Gotham drew 1.14 million last week. The last year, by the way, was 917,000. So they drew an extra 20, 25%, however the math works out, from one year to the next. Last year, the MLS Cup final, which by the way included a Los Angeles team, drew 458,000. So you have to bring this up. If Messi gets in and they still don't draw 1 million people, oh my God, what does that mean for the league?
Yeah, true. But does that have something indictment with just being exclusive to Apple and not being on FS1? Does that hurt some expanding the brand to like the FF1s or FS1, the Foxes and all that stuff? This is where you need this game, and I could be wrong. This is just on Apple TV, right? This is not on Fox.
Yeah, and that's where the problem is that Apple. I've talked to a lot of people throughout the league nationwide, and they're all like, soccer is generally a channel surfing league. So you'll sit there, you'll channel surf, you'll be like, all right, I'll have it on in the background while I'm playing on my phone. Something happens, you look up or you rewind it. That's how interest is drawn. But if you look at USL is on some kind of cable. It was on CBS last week. NWSL was on CBS last week. Premier League is on NBC. But MLS, the biggest league in the U.S., is behind a paywall and not even a big one. This is not This is not Hulu. This is not Paramount. It's not Peacock. It's Apple TV. What do people know Apple TV for? Ted Lasso. That's about it. People are like, oh, yeah, that Severance show maybe too. But it's not even a strong, paywall. It's something that, like I said, a lot of people don't even know really exists. And as a result, it's hurt this league to the point that they're going to actually cancel the deal by 2029. MLS got $50 million as a buyout. But I did a video on it. Apple TV, came out on top because they got to show the world this is what we're able to do video-wise. So they can get the World Series, they can get the Super Bowl, and have the money to be able to do it. They just needed this as an audition tape.
Wow. I never thought about it like that.
Oh, yeah, dude. And I was initially in favor of it. I really was. But then very quickly, I just saw what, the difficulties that came in, the fact that I had to pay for it. I've been covering the league this is my 5th season. I still had to pay for Apple TV anyway, just like the rest of y'all.
Yeah. It's absurd how crazy that got. But still, to be in coverage and all that stuff. Like I said, to me, to get the casual fan to watch the product, you had that's how they're going to come fishing for what they got. And to be honest, and it's not just yes, this is the four major sports: hockey, football, basketball, and football. The people, but a game of this magnitude for the New York. Oh yeah, you and I just talked about for
Mhm.
Boston and Maryland, all the way down to Maryland. This is like the kind of game that you want to show your club, your fan base, and believe it or not, it's funny that you bring this up because. Credit to we were just talking about Will Aikens and those Pittsburgh guys, man. They do a heck of a job
Mhm.
covering that team. They John Phillips, who is part of the It's a Wrap, whatever. He sent me a clip. I put it up on their social. They had a magnificent almost 20K. And I was talking to a guy from Pittsburgh. He's like, "Oh, no one cares about hockey." I said, "Go check out or soccer." I said, "Go check out the clip." I said, this is going to be your new bread and butter.
Yeah.
This is, so it does catch. A champion does catch eyeballs, and see where it goes from there. So but to me, I think the other problem is now with the league going up until December, it's hard to build a dynasty team. It's hard to build that. I mean, because if you're the champion, your league starts within the next 6 weeks.
And that's where. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, so that's where I look at it. You're the champion. You win the cup. That's great, but then your preseason starts early February. I mean, do you even really catch a break?
No. And of all the layoffs of all the sports out there, NFL, baseball, NBA, soccer, MLS has the shortest one of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're changing the system around a little bit, and they're obviously changing the schedule. They got the mini season going in 2027 before they go to the European calendar, which I think was a smart move all the way through. I think they did exactly what they needed to. I love the 14-game regular season. I think that's a fantastic idea. But they did exactly what I think they needed to start trying to get the league the way it needs to be right now. Oh, yeah, that's true, too. Yeah, the fact that bars don't even have Apple TV, because what's the point? Because with that, again, that's where the problem is. If Apple TV had an NFL Sunday ticket as part of the package or something where you can draw people into that from what you have, yeah, that's a fantastic point. The bars themselves would be able to do this too, which would generate interest in this.
That's true. The only time we went out for a game, knock on wood, 3-4 years ago, God rest his soul, was me and Gus. We went to PJ Wilhan's out here to watch NYC and Philly in 22 for the Eastern Conference Championship. But the bars had it all. That bar had it on.
But that was also on regular cable. That was prior to the Apple TV.
True.
It was like Channel 47 or something.
Yeah, true. They did have it on a major market. Maybe I think it was like a Fox or deal. But again, it's this is where it involves us to really trying to help grow the brand as far as media and beat reporters and all that stuff. I think we're going to have to their bread and butter is trying to get their names out.
It's funny with Philadelphia, you got people like Tannenwald with the Philadelphia Inquirer, but with New York City FC, AM New York is like the top of the food chain, which is like it's not the Daily News, it's not the Post, the Time Journal, or anything like that. It is a print medium, but boy, that's a really small one. My piddly little ass is one of the biggest ones out there. It is. It's amazing. But pass over the top. First corner, by the way, of the game for, in this case, going into Miami. About 45th minute. We'll find out how much added time in a second. But you go in there and you look at New York City, and it's all like bloggers, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little, on one hand, I'm happy to see, because it's like, big fish, small pond sort of thing. But on the other hand, it's like, wow, what does that say about the team? When NYCFC won the MLS Cup in 2021, only one major news outlet came out. I forget if it was CBS, NBC, ABC, or Fox. It was only one of those groups that actually came out to cover it. No one else did.
Wow.
Wow.
And like I said, I think right now, like, again, a dismal, beat-up football teams, New York will look for someone to latch onto. The Mets, up and down, question marks. Yankees, yeah, of course, we know the Yankees will always be king up there. But, the Knicks, so. But again, if they can somehow sneak this W today, over the great number 10, this will open up eyeballs out there.
It might. I mean, right now, like I said, the team needs whatever it can get. It's got the new stadium coming in 2027. So there's a good opportunity to get your own self-identity and not have to deal with the commentary about playing in a baseball stadium. You know, listen, if you ever see like where the Chicago Fire play, I'm sorry, say what you want about Yankee Stadium. If you see where the Chicago Fire play, literally you can see the Bears logo in midfield. It is there. You see the Bears end zone.
I know it. Like I sound weird for saying this, but I think that's cool. Like, you know, you guys get to share, you know, a baseball stadium's Citi Field, right? I think that's awesome. You know, if you go down for, you know, Soldier Field for a Union and you know, it's, you know, Fire game, or you go down Atlanta and you see it's the Georgia Dome. It has, you know, four, Atlanta, Atlanta and you know, there's teams. So I think it's cool to play out of the stadium. You get to, you know, get able to cover from one of those major towns and see what it can draw.
Sure. You know, and you look at a team like Atlanta who pulls in 30, 40, 50,000 a game. Charlotte does much of the same there. There has been some back and forth about whether or not the team actually is drawing what it needs to right there. And whether the league is actually getting the attendance. The attendance broke 1 million last time. There's some question about whether or not it may maintain that this year. I heard some stuff from inside the league that some of my information may or may not have been accurate. I'll never know for sure. But I did get a phone call from the vice president of one of the teams who quickly jumped to the defense of his ticket office on that. Literally, I got a phone call on the cell number of a vice president of one of the MLS teams being like, yeah, this is the numbers we have. I'm like, okay, I'll take the tweet down.
Wow.
Because I'm looking at the number, it's like, who is this a robocall? And I look up the number, like, oh shit. Because I looked it up, and the numbers, you know, like I just looked it up on Google, and I'm like, I'm talking to someone else. I'm like, dude, I got to take this one. I'm sorry, I'll be right back.
Yes.
You know, when a VP of a soccer team calls you, it's like, yeah, you probably should answer. So 6 minutes of added time right now. We're in closing in on finishing the third minute of it. Miami are currently up 2-1 right now. 2 goals for Allende, but then followed up by a header by Justin Hack to cut the lead to 2-1. So New York does have at least some momentum going into this half if it stays 2-1. But you have to assume that Miami's going to be coming out full throttle as well for the second half.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 49th minute at the moment. So, yeah, taking your comments too if you got any at this point.
Yeah, and again, this is huge. Again, I have been, you know, it's been fun to cover the season. Again, I expect that New York is going to give the battle. And again, if New York can find themselves in the second half, just tying this thing, we got a whole new game here. We have a whole new game here, and now the pressure starts sinking in on Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Like because if New York could tie this thing, Miami will be out of steam.
Sure. You know, I think if New York can somehow find a way to tie this by halftime and suddenly make this a 45-minute game, you know, I think they'd be more than happy with it. But I think even getting the Justin Hack goal right now to cut the deficit to 1 does give them the belief that maybe we can make a comeback out of this. But again, you're going to have to assume that Inter Miami is going to be coming full throttle on something like this. And they are not going to let that second goal happen. They're going to go much more offensively heavy in the second half. Because right now, shots right now are 5-3 in favor of Inter Miami on goal. So both goalkeepers are doing what they need to at the moment.
Who wants some of this? Who wants some of this?
I want some of this.
Yeah, that's Roblox. That's Roblox.
Not a problem, man.
What's on it?
Got a message from I got a message from a season ticket holder for Philadelphia. He's like, I can't believe I'm rooting for NYCFC.
Yeah, and it's
enemy
crazy.
If my enemy becomes my friend, right?
It's crazy too because who would have thought, right? But I guess a lot of people just don't want to see Messi win the chip. Win the chip, and I guess because for me, like I said, I witnessed great defense play, and I can respect that. I can respect that somebody came into Philadelphia and completely shut this team out, and this team not having an answer for 94 plus minutes, not having an answer for New York, and I thought that was a great game from you guys. I said, now we got to see that can carry over down South Beach, because now what was a tough place to play. Like I said, they played 94 minutes here with no problem. They should be able to handle business in South Beach. And I get it. A Ty Baribo and Messi are just two different levels. As much as Philly fans want to try and get behind Ty Baribo to be that next hot shot, he is a light years away from Messi.
He's still young too, and that's the thing. I mean, he obviously had the start that he had, 6 goals in the first 3 games, I think it was. First player in MLS history, I think, to do that too.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Bradley Cornell benched him. I shrugged my shoulders and went to that second half, and he put him on the bench for Uwa. I said, Ula, I hope Uwa had some spinach back there. I mean, I hope he's going to be able to play like Popeye, because if not, I mean, this is a big no-no.
Yeah. But second corner, by the way, for the Union right here, is closing out the first half. But Bradley Cornell, obviously, also, much like Pascal Janssen, is the tough coach. Typically in sports across the board, you got the nice coach, then you got the tough ass, nice coach, and you're back and forth there. So Nick Cushing, Jim Curtin gave way to Pascal Janssen and Bradley Cornell, who clearly made the teams better in the process all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
So, did I think that Philadelphia was going to actually get first place in the East? No, I didn't. I figured sixth place. I think it said 7th overall. I figured that was too much because Curtin was so popular, and I like Jim Curtin, man. He was freaking awesome. But anyway,
I did too. I'm shocked that he wasn't coaching nowhere else. I heard rumors about him possibly going to New England, and he turned it down. I don't know. Again, I don't know how true that was. But yeah, I'm surprised he didn't want to land a job yet, or whatever, or even just being an analyst overall for NYC, MLS. I'm just surprised he hasn't done anything. Just kind of like lay low a little bit.
I think you take the year off. You kind of decide what you want to do.
Yeah, good call.
I don't think we have any new news on him right now. But yeah, I mean, Jim Curtin, basically not of the Rev, but it'd be interesting to see what happens to him. But I think he will land on his feet anywhere he wants to go. Guy like that, he does not stay down. He stays down as long as he wants to. Nick Cushing is over in Denver right now with the women's team. I think he's better suited for a women's soccer team than he is a men's team. But,
right.
But Curtin, I mean, there's a lot of options that he may have out there. Colorado's a possibility. I don't think Atlanta's hired a new guy yet. I'll have to check on that. Or does he go to Europe? It's a possibility too. But he's got the pedigree, he's got the skill set, and he's got the demeanor too. Like I said, he's a good guy.
Yeah, it's so funny because him and Bradley Cornell are day and night in that press conference. Cornell, Jim Curtin comes walking in that press conference, he's shaking everyone's hand, asking how's the family, etc. Bradley Cornell is all business, and he doesn't like to answer the same question twice. When he first got here, he was a little snippy, and then he kind of cooled down, kind of got relaxed with everybody. But he's a straightforward business guy, and that's what I kind of like about him. But and listen, it's to me.
Sorry, I just realized a mistake. Fix that. There we go.
There you go.
But in this case, same thing with Nick Cushing. He was the fun uncle, and Pascal Janssen is the dad you're trying to impress.
Yes.
And that's, I think, the same connection between Curtin and Cornell there, where Bradley Cornell is that guy. Now Pascal Janssen, he'll call you out in a press conference, and he has. I've seen it happen where he's like, "Do you really know what you're talking about right now?" Or no? He will just straight up bean somebody that way.
Oh man, I listen. I forgot Jim or Bradley's like, I think I answered that one already. Already. I'm looking at Mr. Nunez. I'm like, is this guy? Is he always like this? What's going on with this guy?
Yeah.
I'm like, Mr. Nunez.
Where's he from? Is he South Africa?
I don't know exactly where Mr. Cornell. He does have an accent though. That's for sure.
I mean, I know that. Pascal Janssen is Dutch. Johannesburg, South Africa. And of course, breaks my heart because he's younger than I am, because that's how you feel old in this world. First, basically, it was some of the players actually are a little bit younger than you are. Then all the players are younger than you are. Then the coaches are younger than you are.
Yeah. And then That's painful. Coaches, players, referees. Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, they're doing all that, and I'm sitting down here in my basement talking about them.
Yeah. and I'm that old puppet from Muppet Babies up in the corner. That's right. That's where I feel like I'm at.
Dude, you look at this kind of stuff, and like Pascal Janssen is still younger than I am, so I feel better about that, at least to a degree. But yeah, Nick Cushing was 10 years younger than I was. I am Carnell's younger than they look old as crap because the stress that goes into it, sure, but as Indiana Jones said, the first movie, it's not the years, it's the mileage.
It's true on that.
So
true on that.
Thoughts on the first half if you got them?
Listen, just looked like this game was put away. I didn't like how New York came out too physical too physical soccer, because that to me already showed signs of defeat. But again, they battled through. They got on the scoreboard. Now they can smell themselves. They can smell themselves a little bit going into that half, and now they just got to capitalize. And now, if you like I said, if they tie this game, you're telling your locker room, you're telling you're in the bench, this is a brand new game, and we can lock things up here.
Sure. And you look at somebody like this, and again, what is Messi going to bring to the table on this one? Allende, is he going to get a hat trick? He's already had a brace. He's already got 2. So I mean, shots on goal 3-2, shots overall 5-3, possession 54-46. 2 yellow cards on each side. It is a little, like I said, it's a little chippy on this one. Maxi Morales and Nico have yellow cards on for NYCFC. 2 players that you really don't want to have a second yellow and lose. So you have to ask the question: is one of them going to get pulled? Go ahead.
No, I'm going back to the Hank goal here, and again, there it goes. Corner shot. Not corner, but getting a header goal. In the middle of traffic. That's what you want to do. Again, you have to beat you have to beat the one-on-one coverages. You have to beat the opposition, no matter what. This is how Miami's been winning these games here. Well, that's how they've been getting on the scoreboard, is by beating the opposition. You got to be one step ahead.
Yeah, and right now, again, you look at this is still Miami's game to lose. Because again, the expectation is so high. There's embarrass yourself or do exactly what's expected of you. For New York City, New York City has already gone further than they did last year. Last year, they got past the first round. They were embarrassed at home against the Red Bulls 2-0, which cost Nick Cushing his job. So the team has already done better. It's points higher. They've lost. They lost Alonso Martinez until midseason, but still pulled out a win last week. So this team has done everything that they needed to do. Now, here's the other side of this, and this is the heavy rumors I've been hearing underneath. The players are starting to not turn on him a little bit, but they're starting to resent him a little bit because he is such a hard ass. And you have to wonder if that's going to affect the second season if the team starts to struggle, if he's going to possibly lose that clubhouse.
What?
That's a bold statement. I will stand by that. But I have heard from many, many, many different sources that the players are butting heads with him a fair bit. So, but winning, as they say, cures most ills. So,
I was just about to say that. I mean, again, this is the problem that the Flyers had with John Tortorella last year. They said it was too much of, not too hard on the players, and that's why his message kind of fell at the wayside. But right now, if the hard nose, is bothering the players, but you're getting the result in the end. The message is paying off, and that's all that matters to me. If the message is paying off, whether you like the way the guy is screaming and hollering, but if he sees if you guys are getting the results, and mind you, just say you're missing probably your best player, you are already counted out for. No one expects you to be where you're at. You go into Philly and shut them out. Now you have an opportunity in this game. You're only down by a point, and if you can get on the scoreboard somewhere in these, you get hold of Miami from going any further or getting any deeper, and you kind of get on the scoreboard to match firepower. Things are then trending upwards.
Sure.
Things again. I said at the top of the hour, New York has nothing to lose and everything to gain, where Miami has everything to lose and nothing to gain from this. Well, they have something to gain, but If they lose everything, they could lose possibly everything tonight.
Yeah. And again, in this case here, the expectation is that Messi takes them to the promised land. So now that you're 2 full seasons in, if you don't get to the finals, and here's the thing, even if they get to the finals, next week the expectation is win. It's complete championship or failure.
Yeah.
Even if they win next week and face Vancouver or San Diego and lose, it is still a lost season for them.
Yeah, and to me, if you lose, and like I said, if Vancouver is going to be sitting there, look at the chops, that team is not easy to deal with. I've seen that team put a whole touchdown on the Philadelphia Union.
Yep, remember that.
It's not easy.
Yeah, and like I said, looking at this here, the San Diego Vancouver match starts at 9:00. I'll watch that one when the time comes. Once I'm done with the press conference with Pascal Janssen, whatever player it's going to be, I don't even know yet. They don't usually tell me that until closer. Yeah, I don't have that info yet. But we're about to start the second half at this point. Allende with 2 goals, 14 minutes and 23 minutes in, followed by Justin Hack with a header of his own to cut the lead to 2-1. And yeah, a lot of pressure on both teams here, and these guys are tougher than I am, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. They are playing. They're playing really good soccer tonight.
Yeah,
that header goal gets the game's. I mean, New York's just saying, "Listen, we're not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're not done yet."
But Allende's 2 goals right here. That right-footed shot was an absolute laser.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it to the left side of Matt Freese, and it hit so fast that there was nothing he could have done about it. And then the header as well. But yeah, this is actually shaping up to be a really good performance right here. And it could consider to be one of the greatest ECFs of all time. Now, the last time NYCFC was in the Eastern Conference Finals, they played a Philadelphia team in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
In Nick Cushing's first year as head coach. And then he lost all his players. But yeah, next week, Saturday, December 6th, 2:30 p.m. will be the MLS Cup Final. We'll do the live stream here, take comments, thoughts. I'd like to ideally just have a cacophony of, have 3, 4, 5 of everybody, just a gigantic freaking round table.
Yes.
But
yes.
Various YouTubers be like, YouTube now has that collab option where you can have multiple YouTube channels all together, so everybody subscribes to everybody else. I may throw some of that into the mix too, but
we could definitely get that spiced up here.
Yeah, 2:30 p.m. That's fine. I don't think I have anything going on then. Tuesday I definitely do, but. Past my bedtime already. It's only 7 o'clock. By the way, that's the weird thing about this. This game is an early start too.
Yes. It's middle of the day.
Yeah, 6 p.m. game. I personally, I don't know about you, but I love earlier games. Like a 1 o'clock start, 3 o'clock start. You can be home at a decent time, enjoy the rest of your night. You're not dealing with a game being done at 9:30, then the press conference, and trying to make your way home at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
No, it's perfect. Like you said, I'm a big fan of the daytime games. Even I love evening games.
Mm-hmm.
Late night games, I hate them. I can't stand them. I gotta be honest. You're already thinking about the next day, all that stuff. But to me, the evening games are for me the best because you're settling, you're eating dinner, you're kind of relaxing by that mode and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, before MLS, NYCFC used to do a lot of 1 p.m. starts. And those games were great because you'd be home. I tell my wife, I'd be like, I'll be home between 4 and 5, and 4:30, I'm back at the house.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about soccer is you can plan your schedule around it. This game is going to be done by about 8 o'clock. You know how long it's going to take you to get home. So you can kind of map out your day a little bit based on that part of it. With baseball, with football, it's a little harder. But, yeah, no, that's one of the beauties of it. 2 hours and bam, you're done.
No, and one thing, I think Philadelphia, the Union had two daytime games this year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I loved it. I thought that was great.
Flyers currently up over the Devils 1-0 right now early in the first.
Are they?
Tip it with a goal. Both teams playing in back-to-back games here.
And that's beautiful.
Depends on your perspective, sir.
Yes.
40-year Devil fan over here, man.
Yeah. I know.
Although we like Tortorella, because Tortorella did say the Devils will win the Stanley Cup this year.
Did he?
He did. Torts was the only one of the analysts, and we're like, okay, we suddenly like Torts now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy because again that the Flyers coming off that an Islanders team, just showing me wrong. But let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Okay, they do have times. No, I'm actually looking at for next year's. Actually, March 1st, home game, Union and NYC, Sunday.
Very early in the season, yeah.
4:30 game. I like that.
Yeah, the two of them were playing earlier this year, too.
Yeah.
New York starts with the Galaxy out in L.A., too.
Do they?
Yeah, in February.
Yeah, we got D.C. first game. Then March 14th is a national televised game, against ATL. That's a 3:00. The following week after that, man, a couple nice day games. 4:30 against Chicago. Okay, I'll take a couple of these day games. I love day games.
Hannes Wolf has entered the game. Substitution. That's expected right there. Yeah. 11 goals on the season. I'm surprised he didn't start, but he's definitely starting the second half. Second half's getting underway right about now. New York will actually take the kickoff at this point, and they're underway. And here we go. Round 2. There we go. Fix that. Yeah, Hannes Wolf had to come in the second half. There was no way around it. He's vastly improved over the first season that he was here. I think adjusting to a non-European environment, I think was very difficult for him. But everything's a little easier that way. You see that sometimes with players who spend their entire career playing over, in Europe, trying to adapt to playing in North America. But yeah, second half underway at this point. We're just still in the first minute right now. It's in the second minute, but
look, Scott, I gotta get ready to rock here because my iPad is actually at 5%.
There we go. That's fair enough, sir.
And
I can roll going forward.
All right, dude. I'll catch you. Listen, thanks for having me on. I definitely appreciate it, my brother.
Be good, man.
And,
stay well.
Listen, we'll do this next week. All right.
Sounds good. I'll be here.
See you, brother.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was, of course, Mr. Patrick Bernard. He covers the Philadelphia Union for us. Also, he does some back behind the scenes work for It's a Wrap podcast. You can find him on The Gobbler on TikTok. It's a Wrap. You can find him there. You can also, like I said, he writes for us. He works for us as well. So good dude. He's been teaching me a lot when it comes to how things work with TikTok and Instagram and all the stuff that basically someone like my age is not as familiar with as maybe some other people could be. So anyway, let me see. What kind of camera do I want here? We definitely want that. Yeah, we'll find what I want. All right. Yeah, we can go with that. All right, so there we go. So right now it's 2-1 right now. It's just 3 minutes into the second half at this point, so we're still underway. New York City actually did manage to draw the lead down to 2-1. Today, Olende has had 2 goals so far in this match. First 2 goals for Inter Miami, and then NYCFC picking up 1 on Justin Hack. There's some questions about him and his future. Does he stay with New York after the season? Does he end up going over to Scotland? There's been some talk about that. He's been drawing a lot of attention and a lot of catch here. New York City with a chance, actually just working its way through into Miami's goal right there. Quick save. Nothing came out of it, but New York is trying to push everything they can right now. They're only down by 1. So being down by 1, I think at this point is not so bad overall. But they have to look at this and be able to start questioning, what happens if we go down 3-1? Can we make this happen? Can we build into what we need to build here? But I will be doing the press conference at the end of all of this. Try and sit a little higher. Sitting on pillows over here, so it gets a little uncomfortable after a while. But that's what happens when you're 50 years old. Your butt starts to go a little numb. So anyway, Allende with a brace right now. Justin Hack with a goal. New York City is basically taking the ball back. Not a bad half for NYCFC overall, I think. It was one of those matches where they fell behind early, but they fought back. They made it happen. But their biggest thing is they can't go down 3-1. If you're Inter Miami, they got a chance right now. Nope, nothing came out of that. They're clearly playing more aggressively right now. I'm sure that Pascal Janssen, head coach of NYCFC, pretty much tore into the club at halftime right now. I think it was one of those things that they really basically did a lot. And he kind of went at them a little bit to make sure that they don't make any of the mistakes that they made in the first half. I do not like that look right there. Let's see, can I get rid of that? There we go. Kind of want to get it a little higher. Do 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 do. There we go. I'll do that instead. There we go. Do a little bit higher that way. Do 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 do. Just stick with me for a quick minute. I want to see if I can come up with a layout that I prefer. I want to try and get a little bit of background on that. Yeah, that'll work. There we go. I'll take what I can get here. Anyway, so right now we're 51 minutes into this match. Corner kick actually coming, I believe. Kind of turned away for a little bit, so I got to look back. Game was definitely a little feisty early on. 2 yellow cards on both sides here. Messi Morales, who, again, maybe, is it his last game if they lose? Is it not? A lot of questions on that. I'm not sure. He's a free agent at the end of the season. I don't think he'll sign with anyone else. I think this is going to be it for him if they end up losing here. Also, some additional questions there. Is this going to be Tavon Gray's last game when it comes to NYCFC? Is it going to be Thiago Martin's last game? Thiago is pulling in $1.7 million. Header opportunity there, huge chance for Inter Miami, but header just went just a little bit wide. There would have been, if that actually was on target, there was nothing Matt Freese could have done there. Allende with a golden chance to actually pick up a hat trick, but the header went just wide, and he decided to hang on the crossbar of the goal that he just missed to display his frustration. However, Inter Miami still up 2-1 right now. Let's take a look at some of the numbers real quick. Inter Miami has basically scored 45 first-half goals in just 39 games this season, more than any other MLS team. But in this case, the onus is on them. Just reading something off of FOTMob right now. The odds of victory for Inter Miami have jumped up to 77.6% per FOTMob, so I'll throw that in there as well. Hottest Wolf basically came in. Johnny Shore came out, the 18-year-old. That makes sense in this case. He had, Johnny Shore has a good future ahead of him, but I think not full 90 minutes for him was a little bit too much, especially with the team being down by 1. Give him some playoff experience like this. Give him a good opportunity to learn, and let a kid like him build. He's only 18 years old. There's a lot to be able to develop with a kid like that. But right now, at this point, shots on goal are an even 3-3 each. Passes 89 to 87%, so Inter Miami's pulling that one off nicely. Shots on goal 6-4. Surprisingly, no offsides yet, which I find kind of curious, but it's okay. Like I said, tackles have been a little low, 9-7. Interceptions have been low, so it's been a pretty sluggish game where it's been a lot of keep away with something like this. Not too many chances being taken, not too many risks being taken. Tadeo Allende currently has a FOTMob rating of 8.9. Lionel Messi is actually more on the lower end at 6.8. But sometimes Lionel Messi's presence is enough, where he may not actually be able to do much as a player, but basically just his very presence can make a big difference for a guy like that. Let's see. showing the staff for Inter Miami right now, showing Javier. Now swinging over to Pascal Janssen, 54 minutes in at this point. Inter Miami taking it out inside their own box here. Win probability per Apple TV and DraftKings is currently at 80.6% for Inter Miami. I think that's a little high personally, being up only by 1, but that's what Vegas is giving right there. So I'm not getting into I'm not getting into the sports betting thing. Y'all can do what y'all want to do with it. But Miami's trying to build the cross near the box for New York City. Pass to the midsection. But you look at this game right now, and I think Miami is doing what Miami needs to do. This is a game where I think they didn't want to be up 2-1. I think they really wanted to be up 3-1, 3-0. Something where it was definitely not a 1-goal game, not even a 2-goal game. So credit to New York City. They're hanging tough in this case, but it's a question of how much gas did they have left in the tank. Can they play the full 90 at this point? If it goes to overtime, what's going to happen there? I think if you're in New York City, I think if they go to overtime, I think you're okay with it because you took them to the full. You took them the full 90. Let added time, let PKs, let that do what it's going to do. But I think if you're in New York City, I think you're happy with something like that. If you can draw even and go to 90 minutes plus and actually be tied up at that point. Matt freezes a pass across. New York City is just trying to break it out of their own box right now, struggling a little bit to do so. But slowly breaking it through. But turnover. Miami now with a chance. Actually, they're coming back into the offense at this point. Shot up and out of play. Aiden O'Neal getting bitched at by the officials right now. Aiden O'Neal gets that a lot. He really does. The dude just came off a yellow card suspension. He had some problems actually, curiously enough, in the friendlies when he was representing Australia against New York City FC, because he started to actually get aggressive with James Sands, who's playing for U.S. Men's National, and currently on loan from New York City FC, to the point they're like, dude, it's a friendly. He's technically on your team, so bring it down a small notch. But that's the aggressiveness that Aiden O'Neal can bring. And I think New York City needed somebody like that a little bit. This is a team right there that, kind of lacked that verbal punch, that charisma, which I think, I mentioned, I think previously, Tavon Gray had that charisma. They need to bring him back, I think, because of that too. The team has quiet, silent leaders, but you need, I think, a couple of people who are just really in your face. So, but New York City's just managed to win 2 games overall against Inter Miami's only won 2 games overall against NYCFC. But that last match again was a big one because that was September. That was back in September, and New York City got crushed 4-0 by Miami. Was there for that one. I remember that one. It's not a good one. It was kind of an embarrassing match right after my birthday there. But it was a much better performance for Lionel Messi at that match than it was the previous one. The previous one, he had a 5.8 rating. So it was not a good look for him on that first game, which is the 1-1 draw. This one, 4-0. A little more what you kind of expect from Messi right now. But still 2-1, 57 minutes in. Somebody's down right now. And they're highlighting Aiden O'Neal again because that's basically, I'm going to turn this into a drinking game. Anytime someone gets knocked to the ground, in this case, possibly Frey, and they pan over to Aiden O'Neal, take a shot. Actually, how much do I have left? Man, not much here. Dang it, I'm out. Oh, well. So, 58 minutes in at this point. Inter Miami trying to break into the New York zone. Nothing as yet. This has the makings of being a very, very dull half. I really feel it's going to be that. Where there's not going to be a whole lot of give on this either side. New York City might really try to actually throw everything like an 80th minute. But I think right now they're playing their game. They're not really trying to get to throw chances out there. As Lionel Messi is going to be taking the corner kick in this case. Corners right now have been very, very heavily in favor of Miami. But pass out of the box, back to Messi. into the box. Can Messi get to it in time? No, he can't. And ball is out of play, and it looks like it's going to be set up for another corner. So I guess, Haydo was unable to control it the way he needed to, couldn't break the zone out of there, get out. So it's going to be another corner kick for Inter Miami in as many minutes. And back to Lionel Messi again. Yeah. Personally, me, and I'm small. I'm not even small potatoes personally. But when I think MLS signed signed Lionel Messi, and he became an ambassador for the game, I think they needed him to do a lot more than he's been doing on a verbal level. He's been playing his game. He's been focusing on the game. What he's done on the pitch is fine. But I think some of the stuff off the pitch needed to be a little higher because he has not been an ambassador for the game like he needed to be. As the shot goes just over the top, little bit of a lazy shot. It didn't look like it had much on it, but that shot, just like Lionel Messi can do, nearly went in there. So Ojeda's coming out, and in comes Julian Fernandez. So New York City with their second substitution on the game. Right now they got one left, and I believe 3 players to go. But like I said, I think with Lionel Messi, as great as he is on the pitch, I think MLS could serve to actually have him do more to promote the league than he has been doing. He's getting a cut of so many different things there. Obviously, from an income standpoint, he has as much money as he chooses to have at the end of the day. But I think what's hurt MLS a lot is the fact that I think they were expecting him to be the face, to really showcase that he's the face of this league. And it hasn't really panned out the way in the last 2.5 years that I think the league was hoping for. As the ball goes out of play, it's going to be a goal kick for Inter Miami. Again, I mentioned this earlier if you guys were there for that. But last week, the NWSL final drew 1.1 million people at an 8 o'clock time slot. If Inter Miami holds on and Lionel Messi goes to the MLS Cup Finals next Saturday, and MLS does not draw 1.2 million and does not beat the NWSL in the ratings, there's going to be some major, major red flags here. And it's going to be a really absolutely embarrassing look. If NYCFC wins and they don't pull off the numbers, the viewership numbers, maybe you can make a case of this. But if you've got the second biggest player on the planet, arguably, Ronaldo, Messi, 1-2, however you want to play it, which in this case, but if you have somebody like him as the ambassador of your game and you can't beat NWSL, no knock to NWSL, it's a great sport, but you have such a big presence here. And if you're unable to basically outdraw and outview NWSL in your final, that's a really, really bad look. And I'm worried about the league that way. I think the Apple TV deal has hurt the league in a great way. I personally, like I said, I like the Apple TV deal initially, but I don't know if Apple TV really did enough to promote the product, because I think they used it at the end of the day as an audition tape to be able to basically showcase what they can do for bigger events, the Super Bowl, cricket matches. I mean, I don't care. There's worldwide Premier League, things that Apple TV can say, this is our video quality. This is what we were able to make happen. And they've done a great job. The video quality is fantastic. It really is. But Apple TV is just not a big enough paywall. You look at what like WWE has done with Netflix, or Jake Paul with Netflix. Oh my God. The Jake Paul Tyson fight. We all tuned in for that fight, as New York has a corner kick coming up right now. Easy chip out. I'm always disappointed when it's a chip out on a set piece, but New York's trying to make things happen, and the ball is going right back to Inter Miami. Well, that was short-lived. So, opportunity lost right there. 63rd minute overall. Little pushing and shoving going on. That's to be expected. This match has already gotten a little bit feisty that way. Showcasing Thiago Martins right now. Again, the question remains, is he going to be gone after the season? He's a free agent. He's the highest paid player on New York City at $1.7 million. And I think the fans still remember one of the incidents that happened against Atlanta, where he had the opportunity to boot the ball out of the stadium, thought Matt Freese was going to take it. Matt Freese thought he was going to take it. Nobody did. Atlanta scored and ended up winning the game. So it was a bad look for him, as Pascal Janssen had said at the time, in a situation like that, you, quote, boot the ball out of the stadium. Thiago Martins did not do that, and I wonder if that's still something that's still in the mental resume that he has right there. So, NWSL has more recognizable names to Americans, from the U.S. Women's National than MLS does to the average fan. 100% true there. Where you have a lot of these players there, and I think Megan Rapinoe has been a good advocate in that regard. But again, it's something where you expect MLS to be a little bit higher. And last year they drew 458,000 on Fox. The USL final last year, and I forget who played in that one. The USL final drew, I think, like 438. So it was just a stickle below. So MLS was like 458. USL was 438. And that was the USL league, too. I am a little curious to see what Tulsa and Pittsburgh pulled last week at the 12 o'clock slot, because that was a great game. It really was. And I don't know what the numbers were for that. I need to see if I can find that out. But, yeah, I mean, is NWSL going to be the bigger league in the U.S.? Very possible. But I don't think it has as many popular players. I mean, men's soccer, I think, has more well-known, world-recognized names. Neymar, Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. You see players like this. You see, I think it's more recognized in that regard. But here in the States, maybe NWSL is the sport. Kudos to Dilson. No knock to them. Props, by the way, to Gotham. They finally had a celebration. 2 years ago, Gotham FC did not actually have any kind of celebration when they won the MLS or the NWSL title, because as their PR team admitted, we didn't think we were going to win, so we never thought to plan it. Whoopsie! This time they did. They had an event in New York City. Cool for that. A little annoyed because they are a team in New Jersey, so, throw something to our neighborhood. Come on, man. But Kevin O'Toole, by the way, picks up a yellow card himself. That is the first yellow card for him. Third overall for New York City right now, as we are now in the 66th minute, 24 minutes roughly in regulation before added time. And on the other side, actually also with Miami, Yannick Bright came in, Noah Allen came out, as did Ian Frey coming in, and Wegarn came out too. Statistical odds right now, 71% chance that Inter Miami takes this game, 13% for New York City coming back, and 16 minutes for a draw at the end of regulation. The way things are going right now, this is pretty sluggish for the most part. I think New York City is kind of playing Miami's game a little bit right now, as New York City does have an opportunity on a corner, as Maxime Morales will be taking that out. Corner up, header out, and probably going to get out of the zone, looks like. And Inter Miami's taking the ball out right now, just past midfield. Too many New York City players to be able to do much with it right now, so they're going to have to just set across. Opportunity for Inter Miami. Can they make something happen here? And is that a goal? Oh shit, it is a goal. Oh boy. New York City actually gives up a third goal right there. Who was that actually? My video feed actually, after extolling about how amazing the video feed was, actually I missed the goal itself. So we're going to give it a second. But it is, regardless, Inter Miami does score its third goal right here. That is going to really, of course, is that Silvetti or was it Alente? Card Kevin O'Toole. Nah, sorry. Pass across. Yeah, there's a definite opportunity there. Messi with the pass. Yep. That would make 3. Yeah, this game's going to probably end in favor of Inter Miami there. So credit to that. Not over yet, but it's over that. Yeah, that was Silvetti with the goal there for 67 minutes in. Yeah, this press conference is going to be a little awkward when I have it later for with Pascal Janssen. Yep, just got the link now, so there we go. Yep. Devils tied it up 1. Following that as I go along. Have not actually heard back from Ted Uncle right now about the match itself. The feistiness and the fights that have been going on, but credit to Ted Uncle. I mean, the dude's retired. He's enjoying his life right now. He's probably I'm guessing he's at the dinner with his family, which is one of the biggest things for him now. He's so happy about the fact that he can be there to pick up his daughter from school, make her breakfast in the morning. He's really easy and approachable now because he doesn't do nearly as much with the league. He's kind of a house husband right now. His wife is on the I think president of the Tampa Bay Sun, the NWSL team there. So credit there as well. Silvetti, by the way, with the goal. Yellow card just came in for someone right now. Unsure of whom. Actually, I just saw the hand go up. But Inter Miami is currently up 3-1 right now in the second half. 70th minute in overall. And if you're in New York, at what point do you start bringing everybody forward? But at what point do you bring Matt Freese forward? Nearly a turnover for Miami there. Very nearly a turnover, and it would have been a complete breakaway at that point. New York City with a great opportunity there earlier, but yeah, Messi's pass across to a wide open Silvetti, who had the right-footed shot to the other side of the net. And yeah, Inter Miami's doing what Inter Miami's doing. 71st minute now. Yeah, if you're in New York City, at what point do you bring Matt Freese forward? This is the curious question. I don't think you do it just yet, but maybe at 80 or 85 you start to consider it. Matt Freese in high school was a midfielder. So by extension, by default, it is what he's known for and what he's skilled at. DePaul is down on the ice, or down on the field right now. A shot to the face looks like of some sort. DePaul is still down on the field right now. Unsure if he's actually milking the clock right now, and if he is, they're fine. I'm just going to add that to the end. But holding his right eye, couldn't see what actually happened, but turnover opportunity for New York right here if they can get the ball, and nothing could happen from it. Never mind. For a split second, there was an opportunity to make something happen there, but nothing did. If this is New York City's last game, you got to walk away proud of what happened. You got further than you did last year. You had more points in the regular season than you did. You moved a slot up, so you went from 6th place to 5th, so props there as well. But you have to ask the question, if Alonso Martinez did not play basically for Costa Rica and play for Nationals, what kind of impact would he have had on this game? What would that have done? How would that have changed things? Could his presence have made a difference? Another yellow card, I believe, on New York City on this one here. Again, yellow cards being thrown all over the place. What happened this time? Yeah, Justin Hack came across. Hack with New York City's only goal at this point in the game. Yeah, you throw everything you can out there right now. 74th minute overall. It's funny. All the players are currently surrounding the officials right now. And under the new rule that MLS was supposed to have this season, only the captain was actually allowed to have any conversation in a situation like this with the officials. The goal and the intention was to have the officials not be swarmed, which clearly didn't work in this case because the rules have not been enforced at all. So, 74th minute. Currently at the moment, the shots are 4-4 actually on both sides here. Total shots overall is 7-5 in favor of Inter Miami, but 4 shots, 3 goals versus 4 shots, 1 goal. That's a big telling sign right there. And another stoppage in play. Boy, the officials are getting really involved in this one big time. I don't think there's a yellow card this time on DePaul, but 75th minute right now. God, this has been a slow-moving half. Touches right now. 74 in favor of Thiago Martins. Jordi Alba with 66. New York City trying to break into the box right here. And another stoppage in play. Possible free kick for New York. They're right at the outside the 18 on the left side. But 3-1 right now. Inter Miami over New York City FC. Both teams with 4 shots on goal. The difference maker being basically Tadeo Allende, who has 2 goals right now. Silvetti has 1, and as does Justin Hack for New York with a goal of his own. But New York has got to get something here. They've got to score something by the 80th minute. Pull themselves back into within 1. Because right now, if you're in the 80th minute, 81st minute, and you're still down by 2, then Inter Miami can absolutely start milking the clock for every single second that's worth. Take delay of games, do whatever you have to do. It doesn't matter. But if you're New York City and you lose this game, you can still walk away proud because you have the second youngest team in the league. Shot across. Can they get the header? No, they cannot. Actually, up and out. Ball still controlled by New York, but now outside the box. And goes out. So it's going to be a throw. It's going to be a throw in back near midfield for New York City. Quick throw in because again, not wasting any time in any regard. Matt Freese maintaining control. That's kicking in the 78th minute at this point, and New York just trying to get it out of its own area, unable to do so. Ball's out of play. It's going to be a throw in for Inter Miami. Tavon Gray was unable to control that. Tavon again, is he done after the season? Does he go somewhere else? What's his story going to be? I think New York City needs to keep him in for a lot of different reasons. He's got the persona, he's got the talent, he's got the charisma. If he can stay healthy, he's a good leader. Boy, Inter Miami's just flopping hardcore right now. My God. I mean, listen, I get it. You're up by 2. You milk the clock for everything it's worth. But, I've spent 15 years in the film industry. I admit that I'm probably a really bad actor. So are they. They're not too good of themselves either. You have to look. They're highlighting Matt Freese right now. You got to wonder what's going to be his future. How much longer is he staying in New York before he goes to Europe? Because I think that's probably going to be on the cards. Maybe not this season. Probably by next season. Ironically enough, if New York City FC opens up the new stadium and Matt Freese is not with them, I think it's going to hurt a little bit there. It's going to be not a bad look. You'd be proud of the kid for moving on, but having him in the backfield for their first game in the new stadium, I think is a much better look. But if New York City gets a really good deal for this kid and he goes to Europe, which is probably the game plan. Listen, for Santi Rodriguez, I believe they got 16 or 17 million. I forget. Cucho Hernandez got the other one, 16 or 17. I forget which. But for Matt Freese, you can get 10, 12, I think. But the question is, can he become a solid starter over there? You look at what happened with Matt Turner. He bounced around the Premier League a lot. Could Matt Freese end up being the same way? Corner kick, by the way, once again for Miami. Messi taking it out. Pass up, and nope, Chip couldn't make it happen. Outside the box at this point. 80th. We're now officially into the 80th minute. Quick little grab by Matt Freese, who takes the ball, tosses it out quickly. Team needs to get something going. They got to get something going right now. And stays in bounds. Miami's, again, just keeping the ball inside New York City's zone. Keep the ball away from their own side. Just play keep away at this point. And there's no reason that Miami can't take this game. Curious to see what the numbers are on the press conference on this. It'd be interesting. Credit to, by the way, New York City's fan base, the third rail, for going down, flying 1,000 miles down to Florida to be able to watch this game right now, regardless of the result. Takes a special kind of dedication to be willing to travel all over the country with a team like that. Me, my ass is too broke to let that happen, so can't do it myself. But kudos to them anyway. 81st minute right now. Miami just kind of playing a little keep away. Shots again are still 4-4, so it's been pretty quiet that way. Has there been an offsides yet? Yes, we have one offsides the entire game. 7 total yellow cards, 4 for New York and 3 for Inter Miami. It's looking more and more likely that this will be my last game covering the team this season. Not over yet, but it is we just clicked into the 82nd minute, and New York City needs 2 just to draw. You got, like I said, you got to expect Matt Freese to start coming forward fairly soon. And Suarez comes in. Inter Miami makes another substitution. Suarez is coming in now, 82 minutes in. Silvetti comes out. Having the big game goal, basically giving a 2-goal game for them. But yes. Suarez in. Silvetti out. Silvetti calls it. He's proud of himself for the night that he's had. Like I said, that goal basically to make it a 2-goal game for Miami was huge. But New York City with a free kick, somewhere between the box and also midfield. Pass across, header back out. It's not going anywhere. Miami takes the ball across midfield. It's a 1-on-1. If they can make it possible 2-on-1, if they can make it happen. Chip shot in. Great pass back. And there's 4. Oh, boy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is probably going to do it. Inter Miami scores their 4th goal. I think it was DePaul on this one. And, yeah, that's probably going to be the nail in the proverbial coffin for the Pigeons. Sorry. Good season. Didn't end the way you wanted it to. But let me just fix that real quick. It is now a 4 spot. There we go. Yeah, big. That's the dagger. That's the dagger in there. That's the nail in the coffin in this case. And it came about from actually, ironically enough, a New York City set piece and a great header back, and then an opportunity because again, you got to play forward a little bit, so it led it into a 2-on-1, a great 2-on-1 opportunity for Miami. They did exactly what they had to do with a great back pass. So, and there was nobody there, wide open, easy shot to the right side, and that's going to do it. So I'm going to ride this game out all the way to the end because I don't know, I've got to see the end of the season, but. Yeah, Freeze went to the wrong side, but there wasn't much he could have done that close. It was basically the equivalent of a penalty kick. Yeah. So yes, it is now Inter Miami 4, NYCFC 1, and the winner of this game, which is probably going to be Miami, will be sitting back, enjoying it, and watching the match between San Diego and Vancouver, and finding out which team they're going to be hosting next week. Because that's another thing too. If I'm not mistaken, let me verify that. 65 points. Vancouver with 63. Yes, the winner of this game, in this case being if Inter Miami does hold on to win, they have a nice weekend. They have a nice week at home because they will be hosting the MLS Cup Finals next week. And the winner of either Vancouver or San Diego, they're going to be flying east for this. And that's going to open up an interesting question as well. Because this game is a 2:30 start, 3 p.m. possibly, that's a little bit earlier. Is that going to affect whatever West Coast team has to travel east? Probably not much. It's not going to be that crazy of an early game. But if this is like a 1 p.m. start and they got to play at the equivalent of Pacific time 10 a.m., a little rough. But Inter Miami at this point, they're just going to play keep away. They've done everything that they need to do right now. We're just clicked into the 86 minutes at this point. They're taking the ball across the New York City zone. They're up by 3. They've been absolutely spectacular when it comes to shots on goal. 5 shots on goal, 4 goals. You can't ask for much better than that at all. So now at this point, it's cruise control. You play a little delay a game. You do anything you got to do there. You can do the delay a game thing at this point. That is something I think slows the game down a little bit there, though. It is a little lame when basically the players do that for that long, but I get it. Just run the clock out. You've already got the lead. Inter Miami with another chance to actually score here. If they score here, it's just going to be embarrassing. They're showcasing to the world, yeah, this is what we can do. New York City stayed close, though. I give them credit. It was 2-1 right there. They did, Justin Hack's goal did cut the lead in half, and they were down 2-1. But then Silvetti's goal at 67 made it 3-1, and right now, at this point, being 4-1. Yeah, I think New York City knows the season's over for them right now. I don't even know what the mathematical percentage is, but it's probably like a 0.2% chance that New York City's going to win this game. But you know what? Credit to the team anyway. They had 6 more points than last year. They got a level further than they did last year. And again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next season because there is the possibility that there's going to be some changeovers there. Another opportunity for Inter Miami, but nothing came out of it. But we are now 87. We're almost 88 minutes into this match here. And another yellow card because, make this a drinking game. Anytime a yellow card shows up, take a shot. Yep, Bright, who just came in the second half, has already gotten the yellow card. But again, yellow cards are kind of meaningless at this point, as long as you don't do anything stupid. As long as you don't get that second yellow card to affect next game, it doesn't really matter technically, really typically too much, because last game is next week's last game of the season, regardless. But what does this do for the ratings for MLS next week? You have one of the biggest players on the planet playing. Is it going to draw eyes? I don't know. You better hope so if you're Don Garber. Because, boy, you really need that. He was the one that brought them in. He was the one that basically made this happen. They're just backing up the money truck for Lionel Messi right there. So what's going to happen there? 88 minute in. And just kind of just killing the clock here. Spending some time. 88-15 and counting. Yeah, this game is over, like I said, at this point. Credit to Allende, 2 goals right out of the gate. Silvetti with a 3rd goal. Justin Hack, like I said, with 1 goal to at least keep it from being a shutout. That was a good opportunity for New York right there to give the team something to go into halftime with. But Inter Miami, it was just too strong. They put up 4 against Cincy on the road last week. They put up 4 at home in this one here. New York City kept it close. But at the end of the day, Miami was just too strong a team led by Lionel Messi. And Allende, again, credit to him. He'll probably be man of the match, 2 goals again. But we're at the 89-minute. We have a breakaway here. Is that? Oh, boy. And that makes 5. Oh, God. Oh, this just got ugly. Allende with a hat trick and the 5th goal. And if it wasn't nail in the coffin before, it sure as shit is now. Changing that to Allende with a hat trick. It is Inter Miami 5, NYCFC 1. And in, I don't know, about 5, maybe 10 minutes, I get to go on a press conference with Pascal Janssen. Isn't that going to be Dutchy? No pun intended, that is his nationality. But the truth is, actually, this is going to be pretty bad. Be a full breakaway right there. Playing the player forward, and Allende with an easy chip shot over Matt Freese there. For the hat trick, credit there. He gets a hat trick out of it. An easy 10-mile-an-hour little chip shot there. And nothing Matt Freese can do. But, boy, this just went from competitive to just straight up ugly. Yes, that sums it up pretty well there. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the NYCFC fans are using words that also have 4 letters, but possibly a little different. But holy Hannah, what a bad match this turned out to be. Like I said, New York kept it close. They made it 2-1. Going to halftime, you feel proud of that, but then Inter Miami was just too strong. And Allende, credit to him, 11 goals in the season, 3 today, he gets the hat trick. Absolute man of the match if he wasn't before. NYCFC isn't even trying anymore at this point. And that does it. That's going to do it, So let me fix that. And now I get to do a press conference with Pascal Janssen and a player at the end of the season. And I got to tell you right now, those kind of press conferences suck ass. They really do, man. I've done press conferences where they've won the championship. I've won press conferences where they've been eliminated. And, last year I did this when Nick Cushing was later fired, and that was Citi Field. And you saw the look on his face, and you kind of knew, everybody in that room knew that he was out of a job. It's not going to happen here. Pascal Janssen is 100% going to stay put. But again, the question remains, what's going to happen to players like Maxi Morales? Is he done? Is he retiring? Does he get a statue? Very possibly. He might. Somebody like him might. Is Thiago Martins done? Is Tavon Gray gone? There's a lot of free agent questions here at this point. Now that this team has been officially eliminated and Inter Miami is going to be going on to the MLS Cup final. They can sit back the entire week. They're playing at home next week, regardless of basically who they're taking on, whether it's going to end up being San Diego, whether it's going to be Vancouver in this case. But they can rest assured, basically they did exactly what they needed to. They came out, and that scoreboard was a rough scoreboard if you're in New York City. So credit again to Inter Miami. Credit to NYCFC too. Again, it was a good season for them. They did a lot better than I think a lot of people thought they would. Even myself, I think, to a small degree. But this game, yeah, pretty ugly. Anyway, we will do this again next Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern is the MLS Cup final. I want to bring in a whole bunch of people on this. I want to get like 3, 4, 5, 10, even 8 people on this, from different YouTube channels. I really want to open this thing up and have it as a group effort here if I can be able to do it. But yeah, they're showing man of the match today, Allende. No surprise there. Dude, man had a hat trick, including the first 2 goals. So credit there. But honestly, like I said, next week, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be back for one more round of this for MLS Sportswriters React. For now, I am Scott Churchson with Streampunk Entertainment, Streampunk Soccer. Find me, of course, on these parts here, Streampunk Soccer on Instagram. My personal Instagram, my personal YouTube is Almost a Z-List Celebrity, where I talk about all the experiences I had in the film industry, stupid things that I've done, stupid things that I've seen, and even some cool shit in there too. Fires, explosion, the times I would jump off, basically jump 30 feet down, the experiences I got getting concussions that way. I can talk about those too. So find me there. Anyway, like I said, I'm Scott from Streampunk Soccer. I got to go do a press conference of Pascal Janssen and one very disappointed player to be named later. Going to find that one out shortly. Anyway, take care. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay awesome.